Trauma-Informed Care Leadership Committee would like to welcome you to this final session of the six-part Trauma-Informed Care Lunch and Learn series. We'll get started in just a minute after these few announcements, as we only have a half hour for the presentation, followed by an optional 15 minutes of questions and answers with the presenters. Please complete the evaluation at the end of the session to let us know how we're doing, and if there's any additional information or training that you would like. We will offer a certificate of attendance for those who are interested. If you'd like a certificate, please include your name on the evaluation. Please be aware that these sessions are being recorded for those who would not join us today. Recordings are available on the Licking County Children and Families First website, which is lcfamilies.org. Handouts and the PowerPoints will be sent to attendees when sending out the certificate, and these materials will also be uploaded to the Licking County Children and Families First website. We hope you enjoy and benefit from this session today. I'd like to thank the committee for putting this series together, and I'd like to welcome our presenters, Cherie Nelson and Sylvia Friel, who will introduce themselves. So Sylvia and Cherie, take it away.
Thanks, Corey. I'm Cherie Nelson, Director of Early Childhood with the Licking County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Sylvia Friel with the Licking County Children and Families First Council.
So first we'll go over the agenda. We're going to review sessions 1 through 5, and then we're going to talk about why it's important to assess your environment, what is a trauma-informed environment, as well as the trauma-informed environmental assessment. We'll then tie it all together and to offer additional assessments and resources.
So just a brief review of the first 5 sessions. In the first session that Tamara Fry gave us, she talked about what trauma is, the event or series of events or circumstances that are experienced as physically or emotionally harmful, the effects on the brain that can have lasting adverse effects. And one of the important takeaways from that session was to look at individuals with your trauma glasses on, with empathy and awareness of trauma. And then in the second session, Peg Taswell talked about recognizing trauma, the physical, emotional, and behavioral impacts, such as the stomach aches, nightmares, difficulty regulating emotions. And the important takeaway in that is to look at individuals if they might be acting dysregulated. What happened to you, not what's wrong with you. And then in the third session, Katie Steele and Josh Tolliver talked about building strengths and promoting resilience with some key takeaways that a reliable, sensitive, nurturing, and responsive caregiver, strong social connections and relationships, and good staff support and safety planning are important. When we moved into series 4, collaboration and giving voice and choice, Corey Stutz shared about the belief that healing happens in relationships, and honest, trustworthy behaviors are important to building relationships, listening, including the input of all, offering choices, avoiding punitive corrections, self-advocacy, and leveling power dynamics are all important. And then in our 5th session, Ronnie Boyer talked about minimizing risks, ensuring social emotional safety, understanding the impact of trauma on neurological, behavioral, psychological, biological, psychological, and social development, and the importance of cultivating emotional safety so individuals feel respected, they feel safe to express themselves without fear of negative consequences, and also that relationships are key as our choice, sense of control, trustworthiness, and transparency. And so we're going to put that together in this session today.
So trauma is a widespread, harmful, and costly problem taking a toll on individuals, both emotionally and physically. Staff at all levels have a realization about trauma and understand how trauma can affect people. There is a high likelihood that the individuals who come through our doors have a trauma history. It's important for us to recognize signs of trauma and then respond by applying principles of trauma-informed approach to all areas of functioning. Secondary trauma can occur when working with traumatized individuals. Resist re-traumatization of clients and staff. The trauma-informed environment supports the principles of trauma-informed care in both the physical environment and in operations. Session 5 covered the operations suggested quite well. Ronnie hit on ways to minimize risks and cultivate emotional safety. So the trauma-informed care environmental assessment evaluates an organization's physical space to ensure it supports the principles of trauma-informed care. So how sensitive is the physical space to the needs of those who experience trauma and ACEs? So for example, maybe calming, soothing paint colors, a calm environment, perhaps age-appropriate toys for children, or even reading materials in the area. Also, does the physical space add additional stress to an already overwhelmed individual? So when I say that, I think of a cold institutional environment. You know, it's not calming, it's not welcoming. So it could actually add stress to the individual. How does the space promote psychological as well as physical safety? For example, there, maybe connecting it to the natural environment, having a plant or plants present, friendly artwork, or a welcome sign, or signage of where you are in the building or where different areas you may be interested in going. Also exit signs and various languages. Also, are there opportunities in the space to promote wellness and regulation? So, and we'll get to the slide later, but for example, there's this, whereas there could be a space where a person can leave the main waiting area and go into a calmer environment. Then let's talk about the environmental care assessment when it evaluates an organization's operations to ensure it supports the principles of trauma-informed care. So are staff and policies welcoming? Is the facility accessible? Does the organization address the needs of non-English speaking individuals? So are there signs or there translated documents for that person's primary language? Are policies transparent? So the customers that you serve, do they know exactly what to expect from your services? Are there opportunities to feel helpful and support others? So as employees, is there peer support? Is peer support offered in your organization or for people that you serve? Do they have an opportunity to have peer support? I know one thing that we've done here at the county board that has been super helpful for newer employees and also as supervisors as well, we have hired 2 individuals to fill a mentor role. So newer people coming in, learning their job and their job role, they have someone to go to guide them and to be more supportive in their role here. Then are there opportunities to promote wellness and regulation in the operations of your organization? So for example, this could be something like if you host an event to have fidgets available for the attendees or maybe even healthy snacks.
So what I'm going to talk about next is a trauma-informed environmental assessment. And a commonly used tool is the agency environmental components for trauma-informed care. And what you see on this slide is just a snapshot of a few questions that are found on that tool. The links at the end will have a link to this resource. So items on this tool are things that you might find in the indoor and outdoor environment, questions about operations, smells, sounds, customer feedback, all sorts of things to consider. And the assessment begins with positive items. You have boxes you can check yes or no, you found it in that environment, or you did not observe it. And then there's a section for notes. So is there a welcome sign posted? Is there space to make private phone calls? Is the lighting soothing and calming? Is the artwork empowering? So lots of positive things to consider in this section. And then in the next section, there are non-trauma informed care questions. So no's in this section are a positive observation. So is the staff wearing uniforms? Does the staff talk with customers behind a desk or when they're completing paperwork? Do they do that on the computer without facing the consumer? Are consumers kept waiting? So again, there's the yes and no, did not disturb, and room for notes. The tool also includes a comments section, and a section for residential settings is found on this tool, and a section for follow-up items. So then you can take the next steps. The next slides that we're going to show you tie samples of the assessment questions in with photos that show trauma-informed environment concepts. And as we go through the slides, I'd like to please invite you to use the chat to share your thoughts, comments, examples that you might have in your organization, what you're all doing to be more trauma-informed and inclusive in relation to the concept.
So here's a trauma-informed, some trauma-informed environments. The thing that you want to look for, does the environment promote healing, avoid unintended re-traumatization of those we serve, and reduce staff trauma? Spaces should be warm, welcoming, well-kept, clean, and aesthetically pleasing, and connecting to nature is definitely a plus. So if you look here, there's a fountain over at LMH that individuals, guests, or employees can go to have a nice calm area, listen to water. Hopefully, if the weather's good, because it is outside in their courtyard. Then we have a couple of pictures of the Licking County Board of DD. We have television with slideshows available for people to watch in the waiting area. It promotes and supports people's achievements that we support, and also county board staff. It's a wider open space, and it has a big window so you can watch outside if you like. And it also has signage in Spanish here to welcome people. And then here, this is at the Juvenile Court Assessment Center, and this was the calming room out of the way I was referring to earlier. It allows separation for those who may be in distress. It promotes a sense of safety, calm, and de-escalation for clients and staff both.
It's also important in your environment to provide some privacy, while at the same time, you may need to have an environment that doesn't interfere with staff's need to monitor customer behavior. So in this example, at Job and Family Services and our resource room, we try and have some privacy for folks in that like study carrel kind of setting where there's division. People can sit in separate areas. They have computers that they can do their private business on. The person next to them can't see, offers a little bit of privacy if they need to make a phone call. It's also important to keep visual complexity and clutter to a minimum. So sight lines should be unobstructed as much as possible to reduce perceived crowding and stress. And I have a photo here from the Lookup Center, and it is an old school building that has been converted into an agency, and they've just done a lovely job fixing it up with the paint on the walls, the new floor that they put down. It just makes the space look more open and welcoming. And then they have seasonal decorations that, it's not cluttered, it's just minimum, but very pretty and I guess tasteful.
And these photos are pictures of the Newark Food Pantry. It empowers those being served and promotes an individual's sense of identity, worth, dignity, empowerment, and a sense of efficacy. It communicates trust and confidence in the person's strengths and skills. The idea here, by offering a shopping area, an experience, just as if you were going to the grocery store, rather than handing someone a bag of food that you think maybe they might like. The person would be able to pick out the items they would like for their household.
So it's important to provide opportunities for self-regulation and age-appropriate tasks, options, and decisions, and to also have a facility that's not institutionally sparse. So here's some nice examples. Licking County Board of DD has a room where parents can visit with staff while their children can play at one of the activities, or staff can interact with the child there at the facility. And it's a nice age appropriate for younger children there. And at Job and Family Services, we have a visitation room where we have a couple of them that have been decorated so that parents can visit with their children. And there are lots of activities that they can engage in together. So games they can play and toys they can play with together. And I just wanted to include that picture at the left at Newark City Schools Digital Academy. If you back out further, it looks like a sculpture almost, but it's a seat, and the youth can go in there and sit and kind of be alone and feel like they're in a little cocoon type environment. And here are some additional photos on the left. It's important to promote connectedness and community and provide opportunities to feel helpful and support others. So at Newark Digital Academy, they have some collaboration space, tables where the students can get around and work together, and a discussion area at the bottom where, again, they can sit around and have fun or work together on a project. And then it's important that the space is accessible so that everyone can access and benefit from resources and feel included and valued.
So a trauma-informed environment instills hope. It highlights successes, progress, growth, goals for future, and making plans for pursuing goals. We have a couple of bulletin boards here, one for staff shout outs to empower staff, and then also celebrate staff or possibly the people you serve for accomplishments. The third picture is something we've done at the county board with animal adventures, and it promoted connecting with county 4-H clubs, where individuals we serve could collaborate with the 4-H clubs and its members and give the people we serve an opportunity to show animals at the Hartford Fair. So that has happened for the past couple of years, and it's been a huge success. So we're happy about that, and community partnerships. Also, the environment, a trauma-informed environment, promotes healing, offering predictable routines, reassurances that the person is safe, and protects from reminders of trauma. So if you want to look at the photos here, we have an Garfield Elementary School. It has empowering statements and phrases, uplifting, empowering for the students, but also, although it's very busy, there are signs to let you know where you are in the building or where the cafeteria is, if you're going to the gym or the office or an exit. Also, a work environment connected to nature. So if you are working in your home or teleworking, like some of us do some days, we're allowed to work from our home office. You can make your office space connect with nature, which is very calming environment. And then also the bulletin board with today's agenda shares students in this classroom what their schedule is going to be, so they know what to anticipate.
So the tool can help you consider your workplace and your environment. How does your environment help increase accessibility and inclusion? And how does your environment offer choices and help a person feel like they have control? How does it communicate trust and confidence, promote healing, safety, and calm, and offer self-regulation? So all of these things are an attempt to include them in the assessment tool that I shared with you. So if you would like to, please, add some comments in the comment section or in the chat, I'm sorry. When you're completing a trauma-informed environmental assessment, there are some next steps. So you can complete the assessment on your own, an individual can do it, or you can do it as a group. Here at JFS, we use staff from all levels. A group of us went around to our different buildings and completed the assessment, which was really nice because we all noticed kind of different things. You can also consider having a client or like a secret shopper complete the assessment. It's important then, the next step would be to provide a report for leadership. If you have a trauma-informed care committee, share that with that committee, sharing the strengths as well as recommendations. And so the committee can hopefully take some of those recommendations and make some changes or build on the strengths that you found in your environment. It's important to remember with this tool that not everything will apply to your organization. You'll also need to consider when and where to accommodate and adapt the tool. So we need to have security in our building, and so we have a security officer. That was something that just was going to be a given. They have a question on there like, do you have a waterfall in your lobby or something? Well, we don't, we can't. So there are some things that you can overlook in that. Also, some things that may be considered inappropriate or out of place in one environment are not in another. Some things that are listed as a negative may be expected in your setting and should therefore not be considered a negative. So if you go into some place like Lookup Center or Salvation Army, you would expect to find religious materials. Now, on the assessment, that would be listed as a negative, but not an environment where it's expected. Self-care and staff care are important parts of your environmental assessment. So it's very key to making employees and consumers know that everyone is appreciated and respected. So you can look at policies that allow for flex time, extended bereavement time, potential to earn bonus personal days, and opportunities for staff to volunteer in the community during work hours, such as with Big Brothers Big Sisters school lunch program. Wellness activities, so take a walk during the day. Walking contests, perhaps, that the whole agency can engage in throughout the month with the potential to earn gift cards. The agency could bring in a masseuse to do 15-minute shoulder massages or on-site counseling debriefs for employees who are in stressful situations. Also, if you don't have one, consider an employee activity committee that can have employer-sponsored lunches, monthly food trucks. Here at JFS, we have Boo Grams. So we buy a little card, and we can give that to our coworkers with a piece of candy or whatever might be included with that boogram. We do it at Christmas time too. So all of those things to boost staff morale and help your coworkers know that you're thinking about them.
And then we have special situations. Many of you may actually go out into the community and into the homes of people that you serve. So when providing services in the home or other settings, learn about the culture of the individuals you're working with. Try to see the visit or the meeting from their perspective and consider the accommodations that you may need to make. For example, some communities or religions definitely would like for you to remove your shoes before entering their home or when entering their home. Now, certainly not all agencies can do that, but if you can accommodate that, that would be fantastic. Also, when you travel from one setting to another, how can you make your car be more trauma informed? Maybe you come from a rough visit and you have another visit to make. So decompress in your car, how can you do that? Maybe you listen to a particular kind of music, or you like it loud, or you like it soft. Also, maybe work on breathing techniques. When Sylvia and I were talking and putting this presentation together, I thought about a young man that I used to have on my caseload when I worked in the teenager part of DD, and he and his parents wanted our service and support, but he did not want to be identified as receiving DD supports. So he requested that I not drive the county car to his house, I not address anything or send any envelopes to his house with our logo or name on it, didn't want me to wear my name badge into the house. That's no problem. I had no issues with that. I was just happy that he accepted our services, and I certainly wanted to accommodate him. So if we go to the next slide, this is a little quiz for you if you want to put your answers in the chat. Which room is a trauma-informed environment and why? So we see the photo to the left with the green flooring, and then the photo to the right. Do we have any answers in the chat, Sylvia?
We do not. Where we go. The photo to the right. Yes, a couple of people are saying the photo to the right is the trauma-informed one. Calming colors. It's clean. And nature is being represented. Plants and pictures. Agreement that the right feels more welcoming. There's a welcome sign. The plants, lighter paint color, and the right is more welcoming to children. The area is more open. Lots of great comments.
You guys nailed it. You've obviously been paying attention. Thank you.
There's an exit sign, activities and area for children. I was thinking, because that desk is behind someone and those with trauma need to see you. Very good. So the furniture placement, you may not be able to afford big changes, but maybe the placement of the furniture can be a place to start. And I think having a clean environment, again, you may not be able to afford new organization, brand new items, but if they're clean, that makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Now here's another one for you. What would you do to make this area more trauma-informed? So there's a lot of potential with this area because it is not very trauma-informed. So what would you do? Paint with calming colors. Clean it, paint it. Welcoming pictures, yes, hang pictures. Exit sign, plants, yep, you could use that table there to put plants. The lighting, yeah, this is a dim, kind of dingy Sometimes in your office space, you want to have calming lights, not the overhead lights, but this room could use some more lighting. Nature pictures, very good. Get rid of the cabinet to open the space. Yep. Wonderful. So we're coming to the end of our presentation, and here are the resources. The first one is the environmental assessment. There's a medical-related environmental checklist, creating trauma-informed spaces checklist. It's just a different assessment. Trauma-sensitive schools checklist, building trauma TSS handout packet. That's for schools as well. And then a survey, is your organization family friendly? Not necessarily a trauma for family to look at the environment being trauma informed, but more looking at how welcoming is that your organization to families. So you can look at that. That would help offer more voice and choice. And finally, the resource on here, the last one is our trauma-informed community cooperative agreement. So that if your organization is interested in joining our trauma-informed care committee, let me know. Our next meeting is December 3rd at 11 o'clock. Yep. And yeah, there's the cooperative agreement that you can sign. And we want to thank our trauma-informed care committee and ask you to consider joining these organizations, thanking them, joining with us in our work. Both the committee who have signed on to the agreement and those who allowed presenters to help with this session. Thank you for your attention. We now can take some time to stop sharing and see if you have any questions or want to discuss anything. I'd also love to hear if your organization has done anything in your environment to make it more trauma informed. Well, I'm not hearing any questions or additional comments. Thank you all for your attention. Again, our website, lcfamilies.org, has all of the sessions. And before you log off, when this ends, will be the survey for you. Cherie, you want to add anything?
Thanks everyone for coming. We appreciate it. And just a reminder that any sessions that you've missed, you can find on the Children and Family First. Wait, yes. The what website, Sylvia? Sorry, the Trauma Informed Care.
LC Families, yes.
That's
And then I just saw Melissa shared that it's not necessarily her work, but it's so cool in some hospitals to have children's art hanging. And then I work for Knox County Children's Services as a family aide, and our playroom has light blue colors, games, toys, etc., furniture for children and parents. Very important.
I would like to add one thing. If you're in a situation where you don't really have control over the big environment, you can do things to maybe wear essential oils around your neck or in a bracelet, something like that, and take advantage of the time that you are in your car or you have your lunch, go for a walk, that kind of thing. I just want to reiterate that if you don't have control over the physical space that you work in. That's all I have.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.